Welcome to Black Mass Appeal, a podcast that brings modern Satanism to the masses. Today on Black Mass Appeal, we have such sights to show you, literally, as Black Mass Appeal premieres its very first video episode to celebrate our third BMA anniversary. Also, a panel of unfaithful listeners will join us for some trivial pursuits. And in the news, some Keystone State Satanists, that's quite a mouthful, are unlocking help for the homeless. So joining me today, I've got the usual. I've got Daniel.
Hey, my name is Daniel. I'm a member of the Satanic Temple, and I'm an organizer for Satanic Bay Area. And yes, this is the episode where you learn that we are exactly as white as you always thought we were.
Also joining me today is Tabitha.
Hi, I'm Tabitha. I am an administrator for Satanic Bay Area, and I am real and real life, and I really hope that you don't get extremely distracted by all the crap that is surrounding me while you pay attention to the trivia this afternoon.
Joining us later in the show is going to be a panel of guest listeners who are going to compete against Daniel and Tab in our trivia extravaganza. Until then, you've got me. My name is Simone. I'm an administrator for Satanic Bay Area. And I can show you. We've got our sigil.
Ooh, I got one too.
Right here that Tabitha designed and that our member Andrew printed out on his 3D printer that we're all very proud of and excited. Now we can show you.
There it is. Also, yeah, I got one up on my wall over there. And the thing that the wood block, the burned block is up here too. You can't see my my Black Mass Appeal spray painted thing that we got because it's over on this wall. But yeah. And the turtle's up here. Ah! Oh no!
That was inevitable.
Keeping that in.
Okay, I'm trying. I'm covering up the camera so it doesn't like. I also have the turtle from Hollow Heathen back here behind me. Yay!
We got cool stuff from our listeners.
They send me stuff. I will put it up on this weirdness that I got going on behind me.
Thank you, Tabitha, for that reenactment of the Blair Witch Project.
I'm not getting. You guys aren't going to be able to see it my nose, though. Okay, that's where I draw the line.
As long as no one starts crying on camera and just showing everyone. Yeah. Anyways.
So should we explain for the benefit of those people who are still listening in the conventional means that?
Right. Yes.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So this is a video episode as well as an audio episode. If you're listening to us on your regular podcast app of your choice, you can go to YouTube and see the video version of this. And by video version, we mean Zoom because that's how we're doing things these days. But it's our third anniversary, and we thought it would be fun to do something different, do something special. We talked about doing a video episode before, and we'd also talked about doing a trivia episode before, and we thought this is a great combination because we'd be able to see our listener guests, our guest contestants, and make it more of a full experience for folks. And I have cat hair on my face. I apologize. Because we were showing each other our pets earlier, because that's the thing you do when you get on any Zoom.
Right.
So, okay, well, on to our usual spiel. So Black Mass Appeal is a product of Satanic Bay Area. It's not a product of any other satanic groups. This is a podcast for Satanists to discuss modern Satanism, its history, left-leaning political activism, and how Satanism relates to current events and pop culture. We're for people who want to learn more about Satanism, or if you're a newbie, or if you're already involved in satanic groups. And speaking of satanic groups, what do we have going on with Satanic Bay Area?
Okay. So, long-time unfaithful listeners may remember that way back in January, I said that we were doing an original audio drama to follow up on a script idea that I'd had for a long time. And you may have been wondering whatever happened to that. Well, the good news is it's done. We are just waiting on Simone. I think you and I have put our heads together about when to release it and distribute it, because it is, I think you said, going to go into the BMA stream.
Yeah.
So that'll be a
So
bonus.
if you're a podcast listener and you're subscribed, just stay subscribed and it will come to you.
Soon, that'll be soon. It took longer than anticipated, oddly enough, because of the pandemic, because my original plan was that we would, pay Jesse to come down and record everybody and then have a beautiful, smooth, regular audio experience that would be very easy to edit. And then the world ended. So instead, we recorded everybody individually, and that created, as everybody who has worked in an audio medium knows, is kind of a mess, especially for me, who is very much an amateur editor in every respect. So it took a lot more work and a lot more wrangling to get it to a point where it's still not necessarily, it's never going to be as good as when we have our professional audio engineer working on it. But I think it sounds good, and I also think the cast did an amazing job, and hopefully people are going to like it. The title is In Gods We Trust, and this is a parody of pure flicks movies like God's Not Dead. Although specifically, I had a movie called A Matter of Faith in mind, which is a little bit more obscure and so much worse than God's Not Dead. So I really wanted to dig my claws into that. And Tabitha, you were in it. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good. I had such a good time being in that. I got to play, can I tell him? Not specifics, but I got to play like a Nancy Grace sort of character, and that was just way too much fun.
That's actually my big regret. If you look in the script, the character's name is Nancy Grays, which I thought was really funny, but there's no way anybody picked up on that pun audibly. It just goes by way too fast. So live and learn. That'll be coming to you soon. We also have Jane, who has been back on episodes 47 and 14, is working on one of her own, which will be Christmas themed. I probably should not reveal anything more than that, and so that'll be coming towards the end of the year. And maybe there might be another one squeezed in between those. We'll see now that I've worked some of the bugs out of the process. The second one maybe a lot faster, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So knock on whatever's around me.
That's wood.
Yes.
It's kind of like this video episode and this whole trivia podcast format. If it goes well, we've done it once and it's not so scary after that. So who knows? We work out the technical kinks and maybe we can do it more often.
It's a lot like doing the very first Chick Track took twice as long as it should have, just because I was so uncertain about every step in the process.
We should release the thing to the Patreons before anybody else, by the way, since they're so cool.
Yes, we definitely
and they
should.
Deserve it first.
Oh yeah, did you want to bring up the Teespring thing?
Yeah, let's just talk about it. So, sure. Daniel can speak to this a little bit more because I think he was following it from the beginning, but Teespring is the print-on-demand merch, apparel and accessories service that Black Mass Appeal and Satanic Bay Area uses to create our merch that folks can buy. Now, the reason we do it this way is print on demand. So, we don't have to put up expenses up front, and they do the fulfillment, and it all works out much better until we found out that Teespring is removing Antifa designs and didn't exactly have a great explanation as to why. Daniel?
I think I actually don't know much more about this than you. Just some Antifa groups had noticed that their accounts had been suspended or some of their merch was not there. And the Teespring explanation for this was they felt that, quote, with some groups that are associated with acts of public violence, they think might be associated with acts of public violence, they got kind of a moratorium or a waiting period on some of those items that you may or may not see again in the future. So, you know what? Teespring, of course, it does make sense that they have some sort of content guidelines. And also I know that, like, in the age of the internet, content moderation is never perfect. So it would be one thing if this was a mistake, or it would be another thing if it was like a weird error in judgment on the part of a couple of people that got corrected pretty swiftly. But as far as I know, they are sticking by this, which I find very strange. I said this on Twitter at the time, is that, this idea about violence, gender reveal parties have killed more people in America than Antifa has. So I feel as if you're going to have a standard, that's a pretty good one. So given this, I'm not necessarily sure we want to keep hanging out with Teespring. It seems like their head might not be in the right place.
Well, it's weird too that on Twitter they actually said, like, "Hey, we're not Nazis and we don't like Nazis, but I mean, and I'm paraphrasing, but their stuff is fine on here, but Antifa's not because it promotes violence. And it's like,
yeah, they phrased it in a real suspect way. But the upshot is that, this demonstrates that they don't have the same values that we do. And, while every business is entitled to run themselves how they see fit, we also are entitled to take our business elsewhere. So we've had some suggestions, like Printful, I think was one that was suggested to us. We're on the lookout. And if you have any suggestions, let us know.
Now, I will say it's always possible that there's something like maybe some lawyer got in their ear with a legalistic reason about why they should not sell a particular, like, say a particular T-shirt showed up in a photo of, that the company did not like, and maybe their lawyer or their PR person had some specific technocratic reason for that. We only know what they've told us. Maybe there's more to it. If that is the case, then probably they should come clean about that. At least make their decision making a little bit more transparent. I know I feel good about that. Mm-hmm. Also, I will say, Teespring has been a perfectly good service for as long as we've been using them. So if they want to come to their senses about this, I would be perfectly happy to keep going. But if they're gonna stick by on this, then we've got to make the decision that seems responsible for us.
Well, I hear they have some trouble with quality control. I know that's neither here nor there in this instance, but.
I mean, if it's time to find a new service, it's time to find a new service. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. For the time being, our Teespring store is still there. So if you have orders in, they should still be filled. If there's something on there that you want to you wanted for a long time, it will be available when we move over. But we don't have a hard date yet for when that is. So if you want to wait and not support Teespring with us, that's fine. But you know what? If you want to slide an order in under the deadline, I don't think we'll judge you for that either, because in these times of annoying uncertainty, sometimes you don't necessarily want to leave things up in the air. So that's my opinion.
Okay. Well, speaking of opinions, it's time for our Apple Podcast reviews.
Ooh, great transition.
So our listeners are able to leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts. You can leave reviews on other services as well, even Facebook or whatever. But most of them end up on Apple Podcasts, and it's easiest for us to read from there. So that's what we do. We take the path of least resistance. So our first review comes from Reptilian Monica, who says, intelligent.
Perfect.
Intelligent, mind-opening, entertaining. In my opinion, this is truly one of the best podcasts across all types of genres. The hosts are well-spoken, a huge plus when you don't have to keep hearing like, or literally. Well, we do edit the show. So on this video podcast, there might be some more of that stuff. But anyway, and are knowledgeable in the topics they discuss. If you're not from a satanic background, you should still give this a try to open your mind about subjects that could be considered traditionally taboo. Biblical excerpts, misconceptions about the religion, human sacrifice, etc. I think they're referring to the fact that we had an episode about human sacrifice, debunking satanic involvement in that, not that we're doing human sacrifice.
Yeah, no, not pro. We are very anti-human sacrifice.
I just want to say, in hindsight, I'm still amazed that you let me put that show on the schedule.
I thought it was a good one.
It was really good one. It's one of the ones I'm proudest of. I'm just saying, I thought I was the only one who was going to go in for let's do a human sacrifice show.
We knew what you meant. Anyways, they continue. I've been listening about a year now, and has not only helped me make the leap into becoming a card-carrying TST member, but also a more critical, caring, inquisitive, and empathetic person. This has had an impact on a dark moment in my life and helped push me past that. Additionally, coming from a traditional Christian and Asian background, Black Mass Appeal has become the secret continuation of my teenage punk phase. It's not a phase. It's a way of life.
It's not a phase, Mom.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to write in, and I'm glad we're able to help.
Yeah. That was
very sweet. On the topic of feedback and listener opinions, I know from experience that when you're very familiar with a person's voice and you see it coming out of a person's face for the first time, that it's really, really weird. So this whole thing has got to be very surreal for some of the people who are out there. So let's just take a minute and appreciate their dissonance.
We should wave.
Move on.
Don't we'll just won't say anything, so the people that are just listening won't know. We'll just wave.
We'll have a whole visual component. I'll hold up a little sign. It's just gonna say a funny rejoinder.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did we at one point introduce a conspiracy into an episode where maybe Simone was just doing the show in 3 different voices? I guess we've blown that out of the water.
I don't recall being a part of this conspiracy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Ooh.
I just have a vocoder, like the killer in the movie Scream.
Yeah, and then we're just puppets.
Very lifelike. Jim Henson is very proud. Anyway, this is going to turn into a 4-hour episode because of this.
Yeah, it really is.
Let's move on to the next review, which is from Nix Aversa, who says, great content needs structure.
Oh.
I love this podcast and all the individuals involved. However, each intro was 20-30 minutes long and covers either local or host-specific content that isn't applicable to a lot of listeners. This is hard to skip, and I often miss the intro of the actual subject of the podcast because I have to sift through. Could this be moved to the end? No. I mean, I get it. I do. But this is the structure of the show. We're not changing it now. Some folks, aren't interested in what Satanic Bay Area is up to. They're not interested in our, rambling sidebars. That's fine, and I get it. And you can fast forward. It's your phone. MP3 listener? I don't know.
Time.
And, so my feelings aren't going to be hurt if you skip it, but this is how we kind of warm up for the show. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about stuff that Satanic Bay Area is up to, because that is our basis for our satanic practice. If we talk about something like values on the show or projects, it comes from Satanic Bay Area. So it kind of helps to contextualize that by talking about Satanic Bay Area. And it also, if you're in a group and you don't know, you're trying to figure out a project to do, or are faced with some sort of administrative challenge, just in the day-to-day running of a satanic group, it might benefit you to have this discussion. We talk about our fuck ups. We talk about the stuff that worked, the stuff that didn't. So
this is part of the show. Yeah, it's part of the show. It's not extra.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that Nick was the name.
Nix.
Nix is, of course, not the first person to bring this up. We have heard this sentiment in some reviews before. And so I really have given this some thought, because I think this is one of those things that we preach on the show, preach for lack of a better word. It's this idea that you should listen to other people. You should be open to the idea of change. You should acknowledge if you're wrong. You fix a problem, even if it's entrenched. But there are particular reasons why I think we want to do it this way. One, to be honest, it is kind of a marketing and branding thing. These segments are part of the ways that people get to know us, and that's very, very important for their enjoyment of the show. Another thing, though, maybe more importantly, is it can be very, very confusing, I think, for people who are especially new Satanists, because it's not like you can go to church, say your prayers, and read your Bible every night. You don't have, you don't have to, pray 5 times in any direction per day. There's not a lot of structure to the religious practice the way that there is for a lot of mainstream religions, and that is on purpose. But that can leave people adrift with this idea of I love this, I identify with this, but what do I do? And so if we talk a little bit about what we're doing, hopefully that gives people some sense. Maybe it gives some people ideas of what they want to do for themselves, but at the very least, it grounds things a little bit. It makes things much less abstract, that we talk a little bit about the practice on top of the theory and the values. And so I think that's very important. Now, I do know still that some people like to skip this part of the show, and you know what? That's great. That's your right. Sometimes when I'm sending a link, I will even tell people the main topic starts here if they've asked a specific question about a subject, and they might not necessarily have the patience to listen to us talk before we get to the answer to the question that they've asked. And so, I respect that. But I think for those reasons, we're probably going to keep structuring the show the way that it is right now, in spite of occasional feedback to the contrary. And so I hope those people maybe find something in this part of the show to enjoy that they have not previously. But even if they don't, I'm really, really glad that they stuck with us, and I appreciate everybody listening and taking the time to be critical about those things. Because again, even if we don't necessarily agree with the criticism, it is really important to think about it, at least be able to articulate why. Why do we do things this way? It's never a bad thing to ask why.
Yeah. And I mean, we have heard this before. We haven't heard it from a ton of people though, so I don't think it's a plurality. And we have gotten better about tightening up the intros so that we don't ramble on for forever.
Yeah,
we're gonna make an exception for this particular episode because it's a video episode and we're not used to it, and I think we're a little bit nervous and we're rambling anyways.
In fact, I think in terms of criticisms we hear most often, this is the second most common, right behind "fuck these lefty SJs." So, so this is the best substantive criticism we ever get.
Yeah.
Comparison.
One last thing is on one of Daniel's points is, one of the key components to having a podcast is figuring out why the fuck people should listen to you. Like, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck is Daniel and Tabitha? Who are we? And this is the segment where we talk about who we are. We are the administrators of a satanic group in the San Francisco Bay Area. We've been doing this for years. This is the point where we come from, that we have something to share with you. So we're not just talking completely out of our asses. You get to know who we are and why, what we have to say on Satanism in general has some kind of meaning or worth. So, stuff to keep in mind. Okay. We're going to wrap up with one very short review from Burla Farrow, who says, new to podcasts and Satanism. Awesome job. I really enjoy listening to y'all. Thanks, Burla Farrow.
Yay!
Okay, now
to Bolvera, I want to say, awesome job. I really enjoyed listening to that.
Me too. Agreed.
See, that was succinct. So, showing us how it's done.
And then the other helpful thing that folks can do to support the show, besides listening and watching and leaving reviews, is to contribute to our Patreon. Our Patreon is what funds this entire show, every project, and also our projects for Satanic Bay Area. As well as our ability to donate to even more groups. So the Patreon is what keeps this whole show running, and we want to thank each and every one of you who contributes every month. So the new contributors we have to thank, we've got Bill and Sweet Satiri. Names are hard. We're trying, and we're not going to be able to edit as much. So
much harder to edit.
Here we go.
We're not shooting enough B-roll.
For the Mini Beast Club, which are the folks who are contributing $3.33 per month, we've got Riffgasm Moto, which just tell me the genesis of that name. I just want to.
Yeah, right.
And then for the Mark of the Beast Club, which are the folks who are contributing $6.66 per month, we have Derek Dorn, Ruben Pike, Manaz the Left, and Darren Cage. So thank you, each and every one of you, for contributing to the Patreon and helping us out.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the introduction segment. So we'll go ahead, we'll take a break, and we'll come back with the news.
Are we just going to be like...
We're just going to put up like an intermission, like...
I'm on a break, everybody.
Go to the lobby.
do we do it Wayne's World style? Like...
Now you've finally seen those dudes.
I'm worried that I look really bizarre. Like I'm like, do.
You look fine.
I was picturing it like it was Into the Spider-Verse and the word "dude" was coming right at the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, for today's news article, we are reading from the Daily Times, Satanists to help Delco's homeless on Saturday, which is today, the day we're recording, as a matter of fact. On Saturday, Satanists are spreading throughout Delaware County, but it might not be what you think. Founded in February, Satanic Delco is a group of people who not only don't worship Satan, but are also spending part of their Saturday distributing packages of toiletries and food to the homeless in an event titled Satanic Delco to Hell with Homelessness.
Ooh,
Quote,
good title.
Yeah, I like that one. Quote, we have been collecting items amongst our group and reaching out to the community just to collect, Satanic Delco founder Joseph Rose explained. This is our first attempt at this kind of thing. We'll go out to a few spots and distribute bags to as many people as we can reach. Packets include face masks, hand sanitizers, new socks, new underwear, sandwiches and snacks, soap, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and water. Meeting in people's homes or backyards, Satanic Delco is not an actual place, but an organization of members of the Satanic Temple officially formed 7 years ago, Rose said. The Delco group started in February. Quote, Satan is a symbol of the internal rebel in opposition to arbitrary authority, forever defending personal sovereignty even in the face of insurmountable odds, he said. Satan is an icon for the unbowed will of the unsilenced inquirer, the heretic who questions sacred laws and rejects all tyrannical impositions. Our metaphoric representation is the literary Satan best exemplified by Milton and the romantic Satanists from Blake to Shelley to Anatole France, unquote. Nicely said.
Yeah, really nice.
Wraps it up. Rose also said that they are not interested in converting people on Saturday. Quote, the most obvious thing is we would love to generally raise awareness about the Satanic Temple and what we're about, and more importantly, what we're not about, he said. We just want to make it clear that we are here. We believe that we're all good people and we want to do good things and we want to make the county better by our presence. We believe Delaware County is better with us in it. And it sounds like that they are, with these kinds of initiatives coming out of them.
Yeah, agreed.
A couple things. One, shout out to Satanic Delco. That is spectacular.
Hi.
Point number two, for the benefit of listeners/viewers, that's Delaware County, Pennsylvania, not Delaware, he
Right.
says, as someone who almost made this mistake.
Sorry,
Also, like,
Californians, we don't know shit about
Yeah,
other
that's true.
states.
Also, of course, we've heard that mission statement about the romantic Satan many times previously, but I do feel like it lands a little bit more firmly after we've just done the romantic Satanism episode and the Paradise Lost episode within the last 2 months, so that's nice. I don't want to sound like I'm perniciously correcting people, but like Anatole France really hated romantic writers, and so putting him on that list would probably annoy him. But I would actually agree. I argue that he is working off of that romantic Satanism paradigm, even if he would not have liked hearing that himself. And then I had another thing because I didn't want to end on the note of seeming like I'm correcting somebody, but now my mind has gone a blank. So, oh no.
I'm really bummed because I wanted to say hi. I'm in Delaware.
Well, we know that. So there's another Satanic podcast out there called Satanic Study Hall, which is hosted by the folks of Satanic Delco. So hi, and thank you to you guys for your good works with helping the homeless, the unhoused. Really important, especially in these times. It's important all the time, but now is especially dire because of the health situation. So, you know, we've talked about the good that Satanic communities have done before in a previous episode. What number was that, Daniel?
Crap. Good question. You've actually got me. I don't remember that one.
Oh, shit.
It was
Oh,
recent.
no.
It was like episode
Yeah.
71 with the very, very, at least that recently.
This isn't a good sign for us winning the trivia.
You know, it's fine. You can blow the warm-up question and there's no penalty on it. Now I remember what I was going to say, by the way, is, you know, at Satanic Bay Area, we do a lot of charity, but it's usually in the form of fundraising for groups that are doing the on-the-street action themselves. We pretty much never really do kind of foot to pavement work ourselves, even though we've talked about it in the past. I actually sincerely think that this is something that we should probably put on the slate for the future, because as many people are already aware, San Francisco has a significant unhoused population, as do the surrounding counties, which don't necessarily get a lot of attention comparatively speaking. And so now is a needful time for that, but also a tricky time, because we would want to find some way to try to distribute those materials without putting those people into additional danger of exposure to more parties. I say this because I was in downtown San Francisco recently for the first time in a long time, and the homeless population out there has a much more pronounced presence, both because they have nowhere else to go. Like, they're the only ones who are there in many ways. Also, because of current circumstances, they are spreading out into areas where previously they would have been swiftly run off, but now they kind of out of the run of things, which, I don't want to say is nice for them, because nothing about the current circumstances are nice for them. But it is remarkable to see how strictly we police literally some corridors of the city under normal circumstances, and that contrast is very visible right now. So not sure, again, how we would go about the distribution process. Maybe we should get in touch with the folks at Tandelco, find out what they think. But it's definitely something probably we should have done already. Although, we've had a lot going on in the past, so we won't beat ourselves up too much about that. But a good idea.
And I will say that some of our individual members our members are awesome. I don't know if you know that, but some of our individual members have already, been working with groups like this, outside of Satanic Bay Area, but still as part of their Satanic practice. So it's kind of a nice combination, and, we got some good folks. So in terms of upcoming projects, we will see how things go and what we can do safely. But yeah, I worry about the wave of evictions coming up and people not getting additional unemployment money. So anything that folks can do to help other people in this time, it's just really important.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
So
on that note, if you go back to that Good Deeds episode, our guest on that, Josh, is probably out in the field right now doing 3 or 4 different relief efforts, knowing him. So yeah. I guess we should be touching base with him and finding out what we can help with.
Well, in any case, look to other groups like Satanic Delco, other groups that are doing, these projects right now. Get together with your fellow Satanists and help some folks out. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with our trivia extravaganza.
We're going to kick some ass.
We're going to throw down.
I'm going to win.
Well, we've completed our first Unholy Trinity, as this month marks 3 years since the debut of Black Mass Appeal. To celebrate, we're going to see who really knows their stuff with our first ever BMA Trivia Challenge, pitting Daniel and Tabitha against our very own unfaithful listeners to see who has the real answers about Satan, Satanism, and the show itself. So, introducing round 1. Our first guests are going to be Jason Lennox. Say hi, Jason.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And Jason, how do you know the show?
I know the show because I got involved with your very first Chick Track Kickstarter from 2018, I think, and or maybe it was 17. I don't remember at this point. And I backed that, and I really got into the project, and I got listening to the show, and then I was a guest on episode 30. And I feel a little bit like Daniel now that I'm rattling off episode numbers with someone's appearance. So I've listened to just about all the shows. I'm about halfway through the Scapegoats episode, which is fascinating. It's like an old Johnny Carson Zoo episode. I love it. And I'm a fan of the show. And with me today, I have my 5-year-old Duncan, future kindergartner. He's at home with me today because mom's at work. So
and Blaine's on my couch.
Yes. Your brother's at grandma and grandpa's. So yes.
There you go.
All right. Well, we're gonna accept your phone a friend since he's sitting in your lap.
Yes, it's my phone a friend. I love it.
All right. We are also joining us today is Nick. Nick, say hi.
Hi. I found the show through was a recommendation on Spotify when I was looking for podcasts to listen to. I think there were like 50 episodes out when I started listening. I listened to them all within like 2 weeks. I've loved the show.
Well, thank you. We're happy that you're able to join us. So now what we're going to do is we're going to explain the rules. On today's show, we're going to have 3 rounds with 10 trivia questions each. They're worth varying points, which I'll say before the end of the question. Our 2 teams will be able to collaborate with each other using the Zoom chat so they can privately discuss their answers. You'll have 1 minute to discuss and decide on your answer and submit it to me privately via Zoom chat. Now, we're going to do the answers at the end of each round, so I'm not going to stop and say the answer after each question. We're just going to keep it rolling. Now, of course, the team at the end that has the most points is going to be our winner. And for deciding questions, it doesn't have to be spelled perfectly. I just need to be able to understand what you're saying. So at least phonetically, that works. Okay. So are you ready for our first round?
Well, I don't know. It occurs to me, like, the pressure is really on me and Tabitha here. Because, like, if we don't know this shit, what have we been doing for the last 3 years?
Well, I tried to write them to specifically stump you guys, so you don't actually have an advantage.
Great.
Now, our first round is going to be trivia about Satan himself. This covers mythology, literature, pop culture.
Hey, wait, I wasn't prepared to talk about Satan today. This is very unfair to spring this on me at the last minute.
Okay.
You're so funny, Daniel.
All right. Question 1. Get your little chat fingers ready. In Dante's Inferno, who was Satan munching on in the icy ninth circle? This is worth 3 points. And go.
My dad's on screen.
Did I get it right?
10 seconds.
Daniel. Daniel, talk to me. Okay.
All right. Time is up. Submit your answers to me.
Now.
Come on, Dad. Hurry up.
Daniel, would you like to submit it?
Yep. Nick's rolling on this one.
Nick, do
Oh, wait,
you?
okay, I see.
Yeah,
Sorry,
guys.
I'm still navigating the chat for the first time here.
Okie dokie. We're going to move on to question 2 now. Question 2. In the book of Revelation, how many heads does the beast from the sea have, and how many crowns is he wearing? And go.
I think 2.
Geez, now maybe I think it's 2 also.
Mm.
Okay, 10 seconds.
I'm going to pick a 1,000 or 100.
1,000 or 100?
Those
I
are
think-
really good numbers.
Okay,
This stuff.
got your answers.
Now, wait, to be clear, since we didn't go over this beforehand, we're getting the answers at the end of the round.
We're going to go over the answers at the very end of the round.
for the benefit so that people can play along at home if they like.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the time where you can scream for the answer in your car, and then you'll be, satisfied, smugly satisfied when I read the answers at the end.
In fact, I want to apologize in advance to the listener who knew the answer to number 1 back when we did that episode, and I did not, because I might have let that person down yet again.
Oh, how many points was that last one worth?
That is worth 2 points.
Okay.
1 point for heads and 1 point for crowns.
Got it.
So I've received everyone's answers, and we're ready to move on to question number 3.
All right.
So question number 3. Now, most folks know that the number of the beast in Revelation is 666. What's the alternative number that is sometimes given as the number of the beast? And what person is thought And what person is this number thought to represent? This is worth 2 points. And go.
What are we doing?
We're doing trivia, buddy. It's exciting. It's what grown-ups do for fun.
There's usually more alcohol involved, but I don't know we should tell the 5-year-old that.
He knows mom and dad like to enjoy beer every now and again.
Is
Yeah,
everyone
Mom-
else
Mom
not
has
drinking? Because I did not get those
lug-
instructions.
Lugging. Mom's like,
I have tea.
Mom, thanks.
Black Mass Appeal does not support to Java. This is just what I'm drinking.
I mean, I think it's that they don't support us is the
they're
crux
not
of the
paying
issue.
for these placements yet.
Right.
Although they can call us.
I'm right here to Java. Come give me your money.
10 seconds. I'm still waiting on one answer.
When we don't have the blood of an infant, sometimes we drink to Java.
Oh, jeez.
All right, time's up. Okay, moving on to question number 4. In the book of Job, God issues 2 conditions before allowing Satan to fuck with Job. What were they? And in order. This is worth 2 points.
Ooh.
30 seconds.
30. Dad, say something.
We're thinking. We're talking with our partner quietly. We're reading to each other.
You're colluding.
We're colluding. Duffy.
Conspiring.
We're not
All
playing.
right. That's time.
This is not a fun game. I have it.
Black Mass
Next time
Appeal.
there'll be more candy.
Yeah, Black Mass Appeal, boring to 5-year-olds.
Because we have more plants versus zombies in this game.
Yeah, like there's like a creature that like just beat up a zombie.
All right,
so
waiting for
crab.
our esteemed guests.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. Hold on, I'm just typing.
I just want to say, this question makes me think about all those people out there who are jobless right now.
So I just want to say something. My grandparents could have been destroying at this game if they were alive. They were super into this Bible stuff, and
That's hilarious.
I have said that in the past. I wonder if people listening to this Satanic podcast for the first time are prepared for the amount of Bible quoting that goes on.
I would
certainly
think
was
so.
not.
I don't know. I think that seems like par for the course.
I feel like it does undermine my authority because I often make a point that Satan is not in the Bible very much, really, and he's not. But it's a long ass book, so there can be relatively few references, but it's still a lot to draw on for like trivia purposes.
Indeed. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to question number 5. Question number 5. In Paradise Lost, Book 1, Satan is the first character to speak. Who answers him and thereby is the second character to speak? This is worth 1 point.
I had that book next to my on my desk for a while, and now it's gone, and now I'm kicking myself
It's
for it.
right there. Same paperback edition I've had since college.
I think Nick might have it. Nick, send that. I'll send it in. I'll send it in.
No, I got it this time.
All right. Got it from everybody. Thank you very much.
Hey, point of order: if we lose, is this chair going to drop me into a pit like in Austin Powers? Is that we didn't go over the rules?
No, it's an ejector seat.
Oh, okay.
I snuck in and installed it. Okay.
Thanks, Simone. Thanks for coming into my house in the middle of the night.
Moving on to question number 6. Embarrassingly few women have played the devil on film. Name one for 1 point.
What's her name? Oh, well.
All right. Got everybody's answers. Thank you.
Tabitha and I were talking about this the other day about like mainstream religion works so hard to make women look bad, but that you want to let them be the devil. And really, it just goes to show that even the most well-qualified woman will be picked over for a prominent job position no matter what.
You know, you're not wrong.
All right. Moving on to question number 7. A mosaic in the Basilica of Sant'Apollinare Nuovo in Ravenna, Italy, is thought to be the first depiction of Satan in art. What's unusual about him? 1 point.
Oh, must not say the joke out loud. Must not spoil
Don't
the answer.
do it.
They've been told to read the
knows,
answers.
Tabitha knows what I'm thinking, though.
I do know what you're thinking. I'm mad at you about it.
Based on your answer, I know what you're thinking too, and I don't want that song stuck in my head.
It's to the point. I don't even have to articulate. I don't even have to articulate the comment to get in trouble now.
All right. Got both answers. Thank you very much. Okay. Question number 8. How many times is the name Lucifer mentioned in the Bible? For 1 point.
Like in the regular Bible or in the version that I've amended on my own?
The publicly available version.
I
King
want
James.
the version you amended.
Yeah, I want that too.
So I'm hoping there's a witch question because I rewatched it twice in the last week, and I'm really digging into like weird witch stuff. Like,
Ooh, you
twins,
just wait.
like-
Be patient.
okay, like the two twins, they just like disappear, right? And they don't really show what happens to them.
Okay, well,
That's a nice question. Like,
we're gonna get into the witch.
okay.
Our next question, number 9. Name the actor who played Black Phillip in human form.
Oh, fuck.
Rock.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Handsome McHotpants? I don't know. Oh, what if that's the answer? I just gave it away.
Yeah, come on.
Hold on. I think I know.
Now, I'll accept phonetic spellings. Heck, you don't even need to get the middle name.
And one trivia note about that actor, he had the most expensive costume in the entire film, and the director lamented that it was barely seen, including his fancy belt buckles and
That's
shoe
really
buckles.
funny.
I
By
could
the way,
see him having the most expensive costume, and yeah, you don't get to see it very much.
no.
Yeah.
Spoilers for The Witch, I guess. If anybody out there has not seen it.
If you're
There's a
watching,
witch.
if you're watching the show and you have not seen The Witch,
go watch.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, just stop this right now, watch it, and come back. And then you can tell us who the...
Spoilers. There's a goat in the movie. Does stuff. Call him Black Phillip.
Okay.
I thought you were going to ask for the name of the goat that played Black Phillip.
Hey, me too, actually.
You need to shut up because that's the last question.
Oh my god.
Number 10, name the goat who played Black Phillip in goat form. 1 point.
That's so funny.
Lennox didn't see the questions ahead of time, did he?
Not unless he broke into my house.
Well, luckily I read an article about that goat, and I think I remember his name.
Okay, I have received everybody's answers. I'm just going to need 1 minute to do the scores, and then we'll read the answers here. All right. So question number 1 was, in Dante's Inferno, who was Satan munching on in the icy ninth circle? And this is worth 3 points, 1 point for each person. So we've got Judas Iscariot, Marcus Brutus, and Gaius Cassius Longinus. So those are 3. And Team Esteemed Guest has gotten 3 points.
Yes.
Damn.
I knew it.
Team Daniel Tab has gotten 2.
I only knew one of them.
Dude, Nick's on fire.
He's got the Bible down pat.
Okie dokie. Now, in the book of Revelation, this is question number 2. In the book of Revelation, how many heads does the beast from the sea have, and how many crowns is he wearing? He has 7 heads, and he is wearing 10 crowns.
Yes.
Both teams got it.
First of all, I feel we should get 17 points for that. Second of all, where is he keeping these other 3 crowns?
Well,
I
hey,
think
can I
some horns are
address that real
sharing.
quick? Can I address that? Because I have a strong statement on that. So what I'm
Yes,
working on,
please.
what I was working on today before I broke to the show is I'm doing a gigantic poster of the beast from Revelations with 10 horns and 10 crowns, and I've decided to omit the crowns because it's stupid. I don't need crowns.
10 crowns on each head. That's how I always read it.
Oh, so just like a ridiculous amount of crowns.
Okay.
Extra
Yeah.
in case one falls off, you know.
So yes, ironically, I had to stop on my 4 heads on the bottom row of the 7 heads. So that was just like powerful that came up. It's amazing.
Man, at that point, they're like Mardi Gras beads. Like you're just like they're just.
How do you think he earned those crowns?
Because the question, you have 6 heads with 1 horn and 1 with 4, or 4 with 1 and 3 with 2. I'm opting for 6 singles and 1 with 4.
Yeah, one of them's just like way above the rest of them.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
so we look forward to all of your artistic interpretations with just random ass crowns just sticking out of his ears and stuff. But
Well, I was considering just ditching the crowns altogether because I just thought it was so odd. Like, where do they all go?
Yeah, I'm into that.
I'm
I
sure
also
there's
really
real
quickly-
creative interpretations of where they could all go. So
I really quickly want to say during question 1, I tried to write down the word Judas, but I wrote down Juds. And then I really, really wanted to talk about how funny I thought that was.
Judd Nelson,
Yeah. Several Judds.
Winona, and Ashley.
Yep. That Satan hates them. Rum, rum, rum.
I mean, I didn't think that Double Jeopardy was that bad. Anyway, okay. Moving on to number 3. Now, most folks know that the number of the beast in Revelation is 666, but there's an alternative number that's sometimes, calculated out, and that number is thought to represent a person. So the alternative number is 616, and it's thought to represent Emperor Nero. Now, we've got 2 points available here, and Team Hosts has gotten both correct. Team Guest has gotten 1. You know, we've got the mark of the beast is 666. I don't know what 999 is quite yet, especially with the Herman Cain with us. But
that was my guess. I let us down.
Still pretty good.
One thing I'll mention, by the way, when we were discussing that on the show, I guess I knew on one level that like Nero had been dead for decades. He was not emperor at the time Revelation was written, but there's still a pretty good chance John Patmos decided to pick on him anyway. I guess 2 leading hypotheses about that are: 1, Nero's rep was just so bad that even decades after he was dead, it was, still likely to compare him to Satan. Also, possibly it's safer politically than calling the current emperor Satan, even in this indirect way. So make of that what you will.
I guess at the time, it's easier to go after like Howard Taft than it is to put yourself out there and say that Trump's just a fucking idiot, even though true. Okay. Moving along to question number 4. In the book of Job, God issued 2 conditions before allowing Satan to fuck with Job. Now, I asked what were they, and in order, this is worth 2 points. The first condition is that you cannot harm Job physically. The second condition is, okay, you can harm Job physically, but you can't kill him. So our esteemed hosts have gotten both points. And it looks like our guests have gotten 1 point. So they said you can't kill Job. I'm trying to figure out. So can't kill Job, and he's only supposed to destroy worldly goods. Is that the?
Yeah, we thought it was something to do with like his possessions.
Yeah, but then also they are not in the correct order, so we're going to go ahead and give you 1 point for that one. So
I want to point out, by the way,
good show.
Tabitha bailed me out on this one. I was completely stumped until she jogged my memory. So she really pulled this one out for our team.
Yay for me.
Okay, moving on to number 5. In Paradise Lost, Book 1, Satan is the first character to speak. Who answers him and thereby is the second person or second character to speak? This is for 1 point. The answer is Beelzebub, which all teams got correct. So
I was going to say Nick is smart. Like Nick has been getting all these. I'm like, man.
I read a lot.
Well, dude, did you listen to him? He listened to 50 episodes in a week. He's like, I feel like that's the beginning of a creepypasta. Like this man listened to 50 episodes of Satanic podcast in 1 week, and then when he woke up the next day, something terrible happened.
Don't say that. Good things happen.
I would love someone to write creepypasta about us. I would be delighted.
I like that in theory, but I've read too much creepypasta to think I'll like the results.
Also, Lennox, I'm kind of right there with you. Daniel knows the answers to all these things, and I'm like, I'm helping.
Not only that, Daniel would be like, oh, and the answer to that was found in episode 48, second hour. And you're like...
I don't remember if we did mention Beelzebub in the Paradise Lost episode.
I don't think so.
Now,
not
Paradise
specifically.
Lost, is that episode 78?
77. This is episode 78.
Ah!
Did I get a point for that?
No.
Bonus
points for knowing the episode numbers, because that's not fair.
I'll get you some dinner, okay? I'll feed you. That'll be your bonus point.
All right. I guess I'll eat and continue living. If I must.
Okay. So, number 6. Embarrassingly few women have played the devil on film. Name one for 1 point. So, both teams got Elizabeth Hurley, who played the devil in Bedazzled. We would also have accepted, this is a very sparse list, I actually kind of had to search, Jennifer Love Hewitt played the devil in a movie called Shortcut to Happiness.
What the
Really?
fuck?
Uh-huh. I think this is have to go on our viewing list.
Yeah.
Rosalinda Celentano played the devil in The Passion of the Christ, but should be noted was played purposefully androgynously, but the actress identifies as a woman. Then we've got Angelica Houston in a Western movie called Seraphim Falls that I actually really want to see now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And I would have also accepted Emmanuelle Segnier as the girl in The Ninth Gate, because it's not entirely clear if she's actually the devil or just working for him.
I was going nuts trying to remember her name, and I could not in that moment. The book makes it much more obvious that she's the devil.
Yeah, in the movie, it's a little ambiguous. She's showing up in the etchings and has weird face switching when she's fucking Johnny Depp, but it's not.
I guess there's also there's a couple of Twilight Zone episodes with Lady Devil. Yeah,
that's true. Although I said in film.
Well,
I think
did they
there was a
record those
movie.
onto film?
There was an old lady in an elevator who was the devil, and I don't know who the actress was.
Well, no, spoilers.
That was
Spoilers.
M. Night Shyamalan's like return after his terrible fate of movies. Okay, well, had
Spoilers
that
for that.
been offered, I would have accepted it, but you both got Liz Hurley, so it's fine. Okay, question number 7. A mosaic in the Basilica of Sant I did this to myself. Sant Apollinare Nuovo of Ravenna, Italy, is thought to be the first depiction of Satan in art. What's unusual about him? And the answer is that he's blue. Most people associate the devil with the color red, as in flames, as in hot. But no, in this particular mosaic, he is blue. And,
I totally guessed that. I guessed that. I was just throwing a dart.
well, you got it right, as did the host team. And now Daniel can sing a little song and let us know the joke he was trying to make earlier. Go on.
Go
Well,
ahead.
listen up. Here's a little story about a guy who lives in a blue hell. And all day and all night for eternity, he's blue. Inside and outside. Kind of like Tabitha's hair, which we can see now as she covers her face in shame at her
Ta-da!
continued association with me.
Satan and I are twinsies.
I think we need to get Daniel in as a guest vocalist for Satan Club, and we need to cover, what's it, Eiffel 65?
I don't want to
no.
do that a lot.
No.
Okay. All right. Moving on to question number 8. How many times is the name Lucifer mentioned in the Bible? The name Lucifer is mentioned only once, and both teams got that correct.
Nick's money. He knew it. I thought it was 13. He overrode me. He knew better.
Yeah, Daniel said 1, and I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, just. And then he actually had the quote up too. So
Yeah, I don't know if we get it. No bonus points. All right, fine. For more on that, that's episode 48, Names of the Devil, which is still one of my favorites. And I think we've talked about doing another one of those sometime. So keep your ears open.
Okay, well, speaking of names, name the actor who played Black Phillip in human form. I'm going to give folks half a point apiece because both of you said Daniel something. It's Daniel Wahab Chowdhury.
Yeah, I wasn't going to
Memorize that name.
I told him to put
Memorize
Alex
that
Trebek
face.
in there, and he didn't do it.
So both teams get a half.
Now I feel really racist for only remembering the first name.
He needs to. I don't know why that guy hasn't blown up because he is super hot.
Ridiculously
I
hot.
know. Okay. Finally, name the goat who played Black Phillip in goat form. The answer is Charlie.
Aw.
And our guests got that correct. No, Daniel, it is not Patches.
I guessed Patches. I just think Patches is a really cute name for a goat.
That should be
for a
his
goat.
name.
Okay, so math is not my strong suit, so I'm just going to quickly check everyone's scores.
Upside down, crossed fingers for us, Nick.
I have calculated the scores.
Ooh.
We have a tie,
Oh no. Do we
which
have
I didn't
bonus?
plan for.
Oh shit.
Oh no, what happens?
Let me think. Let me think of a question.
I have a squid. Squid.
About our dear friend Satan.
Sudden death overtime.
Whoever gets has the answer, just blurt it out, and whoever gets it first wins. Okay.
Crap. Lightning
Got
round.
it.
Blurting.
Y'all ready?
Mm.
In the 2015 film The Last Days in the Desert, this actor played both Jesus and Satan.
Fuck.
I haven't seen it.
Nick, give us the answer.
Hint.
My computer froze. I didn't hear the question. I can't see any of you.
Oh no. Well, let me buy you some time by offering a hint. This actor has been in at least 2 franchises that I adore.
Bruce Willis.
Close but not quite.
Ewan McGregor?
What?
Ewan McGregor?
Yes, Ewan McGregor,
Ah!
Oh, I missed the question.
who of course was in Star Wars and in Doctor Sleep. But in the movie, he plays both Jesus and Satan as he wanders the desert. Okay, so that was a squeaker. That was so close. I'm really proud of our guests and want to thank you guys again for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, and our guests will get some beautiful parting prizes that we will send out to you guys later.
I love it.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Welcome to round 2 of Black Mass Appeal's 3rd anniversary trivia special. So this round is going to be about Satanism. Round 1 was about Satan themselves. Round 2 is going to be about Satanism sects, philosophies, history. So let's go ahead and introduce our guests. Our first guest is Avel. Hi, how's it going?
How's it going, everyone? First time on the pod. This is exciting.
Yeah, but not our first time talking to you and meeting with you. How did you come to know the show?
One of your guests a long time ago blasted out that they were on the pod, and as a follower of that guest, I decided to see what they were up to at that time, and ever since, I have been a avid fan, listening as often as I can, often re-listening, going back. I know, which is not your guys' favorite thing, but going back and listening to some of the earlier pods is very entertaining for me.
Also joining us today is Dita von Brom. Am I saying that right?
Yes, Dita von Brom. Yep.
And how did you come to know Black Mass Appeal?
Actually, when I first started looking into TST, probably about a year ago, I was just kind of looking for some type of podcast, Patreon, something, and I've stumbled upon you guys, and I've been here ever since, really.
Yeah.
Well, we're very happy to have you both. So let's go ahead. We'll dive in, and we'll start off with question number 1. Question number one is
I
worth...
wasn't expecting that so soon.
What's that?
Question number 1, I wasn't expecting that so soon.
And we're going to go straight to 5, Daniel. Okay, the first question is worth 3 points. Name Anton LaVey's 3 children.
I know one of them. Oh.
Oh, gosh.
Now, our teams are going to talk amongst themselves using Zoom's chat function, and then they're going to send me their answer. We're not going to go over the answers after each individual question. We'll go over the answers at the very end when we do the scores.
For the benefit of people playing at home.
Exactly.
If you like putting yourself under pressure for no reason and no one to answer to but yourself.
And I'm guessing no Googling?
No Googling. If you can commune with the demon who does the Googling for you, that's acceptable.
I have to change to my reading glasses.
All right.
I have to look at the screen here in our chat.
All right, you got about 10 seconds.
I can, picture them. All of them.
That's probably worth the
But I
point.
just know the one. No.
Anything
no, it's
is
not.
better than nothing.
Now, this is out of a possible 3, so still submit something.
I just, okay. I'll put it in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, no spoilers quite yet for the folks at home. Let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2. TST's Baphomet statue was designed for installation at what state capital and was later used at a protest at a different state capital? Name both cities for 2 points.
States I remember, cities is actually a little harder.
I remembered the second one pretty well, but I didn't remember the first one. Just probably weird.
On the subject of Baphomet, I can't help but notice Simone's 2 copies of Joe Laycock's Speak of the Devil on the shelf behind her.
Well,
Extra
one I
double
bought-
shout out to Joe.
Yeah, one I bought and one they sent me. So I was just like, ooh. And Tabitha's promised one of them. I keep forgetting.
Yay!
Okay. Thank you both. I've received your answers.
Hey, when this goes up on YouTube, are we going to have some tense Jeopardy style music playing during this?
I was actually, I have a little PTSD from Jeopardy. I was thinking more along the lines of Price is Right.
Yeah.
Ah.
Or do your own like
I could
'cause,
do
the Doppler thing, but like something like "Da-na-na-na-na-na-na."
Yeah,
You know?
Does
the
it
Who
have
Wants
some,
to Be a Millionaire was always really dramatic.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I wish,
No, I'll just be
you know,
like, do.
my animation skills, my video animation skills are pretty rusty. Otherwise, I'd put up like those lights around and then have you guys say no whammies, no whammies. But my After Effects is too rusty for that.
That's all right.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to question number 3. In 1975, Michael Aquino left the Church of Satan and performed a ritual where Satan revealed to him his true name. What was that name? For 1 point.
Daniel's good at this game.
Yeah, this is a Daniel question all the way.
When you were in the middle of the question, now I'm expecting the questions to be deceptively difficult. So I'm sitting thinking like, what city was he in? What was the name of the hotel? What was he drinking that night? Like my mind is racing.
What was Aquino drinking? Yeah, that sounds like definitely a trivia question.
Do you have any idea how many books that guy has written? He must have revealed that at some point.
Probably.
I finally got my hands on a copy of his 2013 Church of Satan book. It's 1,000 pages long.
All right, 20 seconds.
I bet he was drinking squirt, by the way.
So with apologies to the departed Michael Aquino, I don't think I'm actually going to be reading that book.
Yeah, apologies for also me fucking saying his name wrong, because I say all names wrong. I have to treat people equally, you know.
Right.
All right, I've
So
gotten
bad.
everyone's answers. Thank you very much. We're moving
I
on
should
to
have studied.
We're moving on to question number 4. The United Aspects of Satan follows the Baphomet principle. What's that? For 1 point.
Shit. Wait, it's not shit.
Damn.
Answers said out loud in video do not count. You have to just write shit in the chat.
Oh, okay.
This up the other day.
What was the question again?
So the question was, the United Aspects of Satan follows what they call the Baphomet principle. What is that? And you could think about, what Baphomet stands for, what the symbology is, some of the usual language used around satanic beliefs and tenets. And I'm not looking for it word for word, just kind of get it close. That's what she said? No.
A.
We really never talked much about aspects on the show. I think when we do another satanic sex episode, that's going to have to be one of them.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Question number 5. What sect of Satanism, founded in 2009, is known for their 11 Neoteric guidelines?
2009?
2009, which was 11 fucking years ago, which I can't believe.
Don't do this to me, Simone.
Excuse me while my blood turns to dust.
Right.
People who were babies on 9/11 can almost drink.
Yeah.
So
That's true. It's well to think that there are kids who were born after 9/11 who are old enough to not vote in this upcoming election.
I don't think it's that.
okay, 30 seconds.
Shh.
Yeah, my little sister was born a couple of months before 9/11, so I have like a very clear timeline for that, which is really bizarre.
I really sympathize with the kids who were born on that day. Their first couple of years of birthdays must have been extremely hard, extremely difficult.
No kidding.
Lots of competing
Yeah.
messages there.
I don't have quite the same experience, but for a long time, my birthday's April 19th, so turn on the news, turn on Oprah back in the day, and it was all Oklahoma City all the time.
Right.
Oh, I forgot
Kind
about
of a
that.
downer. Okay, I'm going to need our answers from our guests. All right. Moving on to question 6. What is the 6th tenet of the Satanic Temple? And you don't have to get a word for word, but get it pretty close.
Oh, God. I hate this one. Oh, my God. My mind is all jumbled. Avella, I'm so sorry. You're the best person I've ever... You're just so patient and such a beautiful person. There you go.
I feel like this is the dynamic because the last round was like that too, where one person had like all the answers sewn up. But don't worry, because that's how Daniel and I are too.
That's true. She's propping me up entirely. In fact, she's been doing that for the entire show.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, no, it's true. She knows
15
everything.
seconds.
She's like Cyrano in the bushes.
Have you ever known me to be in a bush?
You also have a cuter nose than Cyrano, so it really wasn't a fair comparison.
I'm putting what you said, Avella.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I've received everyone's answers. Oops. Okay. Question number 7. Jex Blackmore, former spokesperson for the Satanic Temple, is now an independent activist and artist. What was the name of her 2019 art exhibit in Chicago that, if you follow her on social media, you should have seen this displayed?
I
So 1 point.
literally hate how everything I know exactly what you're talking about, but I cannot.
That's the thing of trivia,
Like every single thing, I'm like,
it's here somewhere. I just have to pull it out.
I can see it actually. I remember watching the video. I remember crying. I mean, but do I remember anything? No. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know it, but I'm a little worried that this is an older art installation that I'm thinking of, but hopefully it's the right one.
20 seconds.
That's what I'm stumped. Tabitha's bailing me out on this.
I like her a lot.
No.
No.
I mean, it's one of two things. It's the one where they were all like lying down and blindfolded, or it was the other one with her like having food or whatever thrown at her against the wall or something. I don't.
All right. Well, we're gonna need a name. Time's up.
Go, Val.
Just pick a name. Jex's
Okay.
Saturday Funhouse.
Yeah.
Would watch.
Woodwatch.
Is that like
Totally.
Pee-wee's Playhouse, except it's all the bondage furniture is talking to you?
Yes.
Like a high, mecca hiney ho.
Okay. I've received everyone's answers. Thank you. Moving on to question number 8. The united aspects of Satan's holidays are feasts celebrating certain aspects of Satan. The feast that aligns with the winter solstice in December is the feast of who? For 1 point.
We're going to owe somebody such an apology if we get this wrong.
30 seconds.
I'm apologizing now.
Our very friend Argod actually performed this ritual at our December Black Mass. So if we don't remember, we're gonna owe him such an apology.
I'll go with that one, Val.
Okay. Thank you for your answers. Moving on to number 9.
Number 9?
No.
Number 9?
Inevitably.
Right.
By a second.
There's feel these Beatles books. We are a Beatles household.
Oh,
Perfect.
Okay. Number 9 is, what was the last book written by Anton LaVey, which was released the year following his death?
I'm an embarrassment to all of Albany. Holy crap.
Don't feel too bad because I don't give a shit about what Anton LaVey wrote.
That is also an acceptable answer.
Yes.
Oh.
Especially a certain other book that I think everyone here probably knows my opinion on.
We don't know your opinion
Right.
so much as your onomatopoeia.
Your stream of consciousness.
Oh, man.
Okay. Thank you for your answers. And now our final answer or final question for the round. This isn't fucking Jeopardy. Number 10. Why does the Order of Nine Angles fucking suck?
Oh. You got it, Abel. Dang! I think this is the most confident we've been this whole time.
You know what? If you're going to be confident about something, it's going to be the Order of the Nine Angles for sure.
Fucking trash. I mean, oops.
Avel, are you drinking guayaki? I love that shit. Is it the mint one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am legitimately addicted to these things.
The mint one is the best.
It mixes really well with vodka and gin. Not at the same time. I mean, probably at the same time, but just a heads up.
Good to know.
A classic vodka gin tonic.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to Ralph all over the place.
Yeah, when you want to smell like the kitchen floor after a party.
Hip.
I don't like gin and tonic.
I can't drink gin. I drank gin once, and I can't even smell it.
Gin is typically my go-to.
Oof.
Yeah, everyone has that one drink that in college they just overdid it one night. Now they can't even smell it. And for me, that's Bombay Sapphire. So.
I can't drink bourbons anymore just because that was, I feel like, my entire teens through 20s.
Straight bourbon.
Well, I was a cheap asshole in college, and I did reckless stuff, including picking out alcohol, which was Nikolai vodka. So like a handle of it is like $9.
Was it plastic in the plastic container?
Yeah, it literally tastes like nail polish.
Ugh.
And also, always hands down, watermelon Four Loko. Never again.
Shit.
I've done some vile things, and I will never. Those things will go to my grave.
I guess for me, it's triple sec. Although to be honest, I probably would have drank that a second time anyway. It was a real desperation move, even in the moment.
I have the first alcohol that I ever stole from my mother's liquor cabinet before I knew anything about any of the alcohols. Spent about 3 days watching which bottles didn't get touched. It was the triple sec. So what I did is I took the bottle of triple sec thinking she'll never notice, drank that to my head, and got sick.
I was about to say, it's like, oh, you put a lot of planning into this, like you cased the place beforehand. But then as soon as you stole the whole bottle, I'm like, never mind. That was like that was a lot of bad work after good, I'm afraid.
Okay, is everyone ready for the answers?
Yes.
I'm so ready.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Question number 1. Name Anton LaVey's 3
cam.
kids. Anton LaVey's 3 kids are Xena, Carla, and Satan Xerxes. And he's got a bunch of names, actually. Our
Xerxes.
hosts have gotten 3 points, and our guests got 1 point.
Can't believe he actually named his child Satan. Like, what the fuck?
A little on the nose. A little obvious, I feel.
The Xerxes bothers me more, weirdly.
It's so weird how that happened then, but then wasn't there a case about somebody naming their son Lucifer, and it's like been a big deal?
I believe that was in the UK, and they have some laws about that.
Oh, okay.
Some other
although
countries
they-
have rules about like acceptable things you can name your child, and shit like Lucifer and Satan keeps getting challenged.
I seem to recall there are some laws in the U.S. too that, like, you can't name your kids a number, for example, but they're much looser. That UK couple did prevail in that case. So
Yes, yeah,
I actually heard that Elon Musk and Grimes's kid needed to be slightly renamed because of those regulations.
Oh, you mean heart emoji or whatever?
they named their kids the Little Prince Anchor, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just realizing right now, I'm really glad I wore my glasses because I don't normally wear glasses, and I wouldn't want to be the odd person out here.
Right.
Hey, all glasses crew.
Woohoo! Bad sight.
Our eyes don't work right.
Yeah.
We're blind as a bat.
Moving on to number 2. TST's Baphomet statue was designed for installation at what state capital and was later used at a protest at what other state capital? So that's Oklahoma City was the original one, and then it was taken to Little Rock, Arkansas for the protest that you might remember from the Hail Satan documentary. Our hosts got that correct, and we're giving 1 point to the guests because you did get, so you said Detroit and Arkansas.
I was going to say that.
Which I know that it's not a state, I mean a city, but
here's the thing that is cracking me up. So Daniel submitted the answer to me, and he said Oklahoma City. Yes. And he said Little Rock, AK.
Ah, yeah.
AK is Alaska.
Yeah.
Come on, Daniel.
But he got the city name, so we're going to give the hosts 2 points, and the guests still get 1 point.
Aw, yeah. Avail, we're availing.
Okay, number 3. In 1975, Michael Aquino left the Church of Satan and performed a ritual where Satan revealed his real name. What was that name? The name is Set, which goes into the founding of the Temple of Set. So the hosts got 1 point for that. And I'm going to give half a point because our guests put Satan like the food, but it does kind of look like Set, so I'm going to give you half a point.
We'll take half a point.
But wasn't the I don't remember the spelling, but the god that they worship is, and don't they call it like Satan? Like,
well, he's Set, and they are the Satanians.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I see.
Setians.
That's where I was.
But by the way, true story, Aquino was drinking triple sec that night. So there you go.
No.
For the record, I had no clue on this one. No clue at all.
Okay, well, speaking of no clue, number 4. The United Aspects of Satan follows the Baphomet principle. What is it? And so their definition is self-motivation balanced with compassion and reason in all things. And so from our hosts...
I was way off.
Well, from our hosts, we got...
I got one of those words correct.
Yeah, so for our hosts, we got personal growth, balance, dualism.
I said balance, by the way. That was me.
Which...
That's true.
I gave you a quarter of a point.
Damn.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now, our guests said that they theorized that this had something to do with the being against arbitrary authority, which is a very satanic value, but is not the Baphomet principle as defined there. So,
I should have went with my gut.
Okay.
We don't know that much about them, do we?
You know what? It's our fault for never doing an episode about this. So how are our listeners supposed to know? You know, we really let you down on this one.
Well, I've definitely read on them. It's just because they have like Pan, Loki, Lucifer, this, that, and it's just like blah. So I'm just gonna put what's probably 90% of them, and that was the 41.
Okay. Number 5. What sect of Satanism, founded in 2009, is known for their 11 Neoteric guidelines? And that is the Church of Rational Satanism. So our hosts got that correct.
That's all Daniel.
The only reason I got that right was because of the word Neoteric. There's nobody else. Nobody else was going to employ that vocabulary.
Okay, moving on to number 6. What is the 6th tenet of the Satanic Temple? And that's the one that goes, people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. So we've got hosts with 1 point on that one. Unfortunately, guests went with a different tenet, but all good tenets to know. Number 7 is Jex Blackmore, former spokesperson for the Satanic Temple, is now an independent activist and artist. What was the name of her 2019 art exhibit in Chicago? And that is Sex Militant.
Yes! Yes! Fuck yeah!
Damn good.
Guessing you got it right.
Yes, our host received that point.
Nice.
What if she got it wrong and that was just a great bluff?
That would have been awesome.
I would have been like,
It's really funny because all I could
Confidence.
think of, there's a comic book called Sex Criminals, and I kept thinking it was that, and I'm like, it can't be Sex Criminals because that's a comic book. She never would have named it that.
That's a good book, though. That's a
It
good
is really,
comic.
Sex Criminals
Yeah.
is really interesting.
okay, number 8. The united aspects of Satan's holidays are feasts celebrating certain aspects of Satan. The feast that aligns with the winter solstice in December is the feast of whom? Baal. B-A-apostrophe-A-L.
Shit.
Our host's guest, Belial, or Belial, and our
Close, right?
guests,
It's close.
It's close.
Right? It's it starts with a B.
And our guest's guest, Loki. So unfortunately, no points for folks on that one.
Guess we owe Haruk dinner now.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9. What was the last book written by Anton LaVey, which was released the year following his death? And that is Satan Speaks! Exclamation point.
Woof.
Always have to have one of those.
Woof woof.
Can I bring
I
up, by the way? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. This is the one of the 5 books credited him. This is the one I haven't read because after 4, I kind of felt like I've certainly plumbed those depths. But I guess I really should read this because every time somebody mentions an excerpt from it, it's the wildest shit that I've ever heard. Like I just saw the other day the chapter in there where he tells you not to bathe. I'm not making that up. That's actually the title of the chapter. Don't bathe. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fuck. I guess I'm really. There's a.
Huh.
We're all
There's a-
greatly
there's a-
disappointing to old Anton.
whole spectrum that I'm missing out on here.
Satan Speaks just sounds like a long overdue sequel to Look Who's Talking to me, though.
Little Antichrist baby.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I would have begrudgingly accepted Letters from the Devil, which was a compilation of his writings that was released in 2010. But we were looking for Satan Speaks. So our hosts got 1 point on that one. Now the last one, question 10, everyone got correct. And
Yay.
the question was,
Wow.
why does the Order of Nine Angles suck? And it's because they're fucking Nazis. That's why. So
Nazi scum.
congratulations to everyone for getting that one right. And looking at the scores here, we've got the guests with a score of 4.75
Nice.
because those little decimals add up.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have to say though that our hosts Daniel and Tab took the round with 10 points.
Woo.
Woof. Dang, defeated.
But we will have some parting gifts for our guests. We'll circle back around with you after the show. And thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adita,
thank
I'm living for your Zappa tattoo.
Oh my gosh, no way. You should see all my posters that I have.
Ah!
And I actually have a story. I'm actually called the Armadillo Girl by Dweezil Zappa. If you ever mention my name, he knows who I am.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I have a whole story, girl.
That's
Okay, we're gonna circle back with you on that
Oh,
one as well.
yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the third and final round of our Black Mass Appeal 3rd anniversary trivia extravaganza. So this is the round that's going to be about Black Mass Appeal It's about the podcast episodes, former guests, the hosts, ridiculous inside jokes. Joining us for this round, we have Aaron and Valraven. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Aaron, how did you come to find the podcast?
Colin from the Discord introduced me to the podcast. Yeah. I asked her at one point, I knew broadly, I was very confused about all the different sects of Satanism. It turns out the one that I knew about was the Church of Satan. And then she introduced me to the vast amount of sects. I'm more of a general occultist, but I knew a little bit. So it was just fascinating, and one of the resources she gave me was this podcast. So I have just done a kind of vertical slice. So I'm hoping I watched the right episodes to know how to answer these questions.
Well, the mark of a good trivia question is you actually should be able to figure out some answers from just the clues contained within the questions. And also, I wanted to stump Daniel, so these are not exclusively about what happened on our show.
Excellent.
Just want to say, by the way, Irk is really, really awesome, and we'd have liked to have her on here. Unfortunately, she wasn't available, but hopefully another time.
Yep.
You can always do more trivia shows.
Yeah. This is working out really well. So
this is really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Valraven, it's nice to see ya. Why don't you explain for the folks at home how you've come to get to know us?
I honestly do not remember how I found the podcast. I think
it just appeared.
Just the stars aligned, or Satan just guided my internet search, and I basically got in within the first couple episodes. So I've been listening pretty much the entire time that you've been doing the podcast.
Awesome.
And, poking you with little ideas that I have, and going out to the meetup when I have the spare money to drive from Sacramento to San Francisco, and suggesting things like the Discord. So
which became a hub.
I know that I'm barely on there, but I'm really glad that it's worked out so well.
It's a delightful community.
It really is.
Okay, well, let's get into the questions. So, starting at question 1, best place to start. So, one of the events leading up to the formation of the Black Mass Appeal podcast was me writing an email and having it read on air to another major podcast. What was that podcast?
Oh yeah, ready.
Are there other major podcasts?
Oh, just ours.
I feel like the question sort of phrases it, makes it sound like we're a major podcast, which we are not. But the other podcast is very major.
To be fair, you are, I think, the only major Satanic podcast.
Well,
currently running.
We realize how niche this is. So.
Right.
Okay, 30 seconds.
I had a really wonderful autocorrect moment there that we'll have to cover later.
Was it like my first round trying to write Judas and I wrote Juds?
Not quite as good.
I don't actually listen to a lot of podcasts, so
I'm in the same boat.
Okay, so we have our answers in. Thank you very much. Moving on to question number 2. Apple recently changed the name of its podcasts app, leading to great confusion when we read the reviews. What was the original name of the app, and what is its new name? 2 points. And of course, we're trusting everyone not to Google. It's on the honor system. Plus, we could see you. So,
yeah, if you're furiously.
You can see us typing, but we're typing anyway. So
I know you're Googling.
I can tell the different typing.
You can tell Google typing when you see it?
I could tell.
You would be able to tell if I was, because I have a big screen over here, which is where I put all my information. So you would see my face changing if I'm moving tabs.
I mean, technically, I could just mute Zoom and ask my Google Home.
Just like go
I've
slightly off camera.
Put these sunglasses on for no reason at all, and it's just gonna the rest of the show.
Now, okay, we are looking for the original name and the new name.
Oh,
I will say, as somebody who has played One Night Werewolf with Tabitha many times, she doesn't have a great poker face, but she does have other ways of throwing you off her trail.
Just throws a smoke bomb down and disappears?
Yes,
I use my feminine wiles. I don't know what it is.
But when it comes to poker, I feel like I have one trick, but it works a surprising number of times, even in succession. Like, you would think they'd figure it out after the first time.
I'm usually good if no one asks me directly, like when we're playing werewolf. If I'm just, I can maneuver my way as long as someone's not like, hey, are you the werewolf? Then I'm like, no.
I haven't played werewolf. I haven't played the card game Werewolf. But I'm way more on board with that than the, as I understand it, almost exactly the same game Secret Hitler. Just because
it's a very similar vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Except like, less Hitler and more werewolves.
Exactly. It's
which I enjoy.
It's like, wow, so someone's playing Hitler and it's a secret. No, I'm not on board with that. Someone's a werewolf and it's a secret. Okay. Same concept, but yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah, much more fun and fantasy.
Last time we played Tabitha
Mafia
was
in high school.
Yeah. Tabitha was the werewolf 3 times in a row, so now I just think it's her every time.
It might be.
Okay. Going on to question 3.
Okay. Did you get an answer from us?
I've received answers from everybody.
Yay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Question 3. In 2019, Black Mass Appeal guest John Romero, who was on episode 46, released a new episode or megawad of his classic video game Doom. What was the name of this new episode? 1 point. Just watching all of your thinking faces.
I feel really dumb for not being able to recall this off the top of my head.
I didn't want you guys to have an advantage, so
you're right. It's definitely not something I remember.
Okay. Received it from everybody. Thank you. Moving on to number 4. This one might be a little hard. Name another podcast that any of the Black Mass Appeal hosts have appeared on. Just 1 point. Okay. Thank you for your answers. One of you gave me a slightly unexpected answer, but we will explain in detail. Okay. Going on to question number 5. Former Black Mass Appeal guest, director Penny Lane, who was on episode 45, has 12 documentary directing credits for features and shorts. Name one of her other films other than Hail Satan.
Tabitha, you're on the right track, but
I don't remember what it's called.
It's very close.
I'll accept like very detailed descriptions of the content of these documentaries if you can't pull the
Mine was
title.
definitely just one word. So
Hold on, clarification. You're looking for the name of one of her documentaries or one of her other films?
So she's only directed documentaries to my knowledge.
Okay.
So just name another film of hers is acceptable.
Nothing makes me feel underaccomplished like finding out somebody directed 12 fucking documentaries. And how old is she? She can't
definitely
be
younger than we are.
Yeah.
Now, don't compare yourselves. Everyone has a different path.
Like documentary filmmaking, like that is a huge investment of time. I mean, I realize she probably did not spend as much time in the field on all of those movies as she did for Hail Satan, maybe, but still.
Okay, waiting for... Oh, no, I've received answers from everybody. Thank you. So let me just mark that.
I've even watched 12 documentaries.
Okay.
Individual episodes of Ken Burns documentaries count.
There you go.
All right, so number 6. Give the first names of the two primary members of Twin Temple, of the band Twin Temple, who were guests on episode number 43. So this is for 2 points.
I have them on my wall. You can't see it. See this point where my horn is below the black masophil thing? There's a sticker right there, but you probably can't tell.
You're just out of frame.
No, I was pointing with my little horn. Like this. Doot, doot. Doot, doot. Okay. Yeah, last time we saw them was right after I got my job. And so I bought so much merch.
I miss those guys. I miss live shows in general.
Yeah.
Did you have a bonding moment with King Dude's merch guy?
Yes, I did have a bonding. Yes, because I told him about the tracks, and then he decided to go. He's some really esoteric religious sort, and had to tell me all about it.
Gnostic or something. He's like a Gnostic Christian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gnostics are awesome.
Yeah. So he was just, and I was like, because I was not I was just like, oh yeah, Satan, blah blah blah, and he's like, wow, telling me all this information. I'm like, okay.
I just want to point out, apparently King Dude travels with one guy who is his backup instrumentalist playing the triangle on stage, and he also works the merch table, and I think he might be the roadie. He's the all-in-one go-to guy for that entire tour.
Triangle for somebody.
Was it a triangle or was it a tambourine? I don't remember. It was something like that.
Right.
I got this awesome pin when I was
there.
Yeah. I fucking love it. It's
that's a good
fucking massive, and that's what I love about it.
I really feel that my habit of listening to the podcast in the background while I do other stuff, and the fact that I have, I'm pretty sure, audio processing disorder, really working against me here.
Oh no!
I did not listen to the right episodes.
Well, let's keep it moving, and maybe we'll find one that did
an
episode. Okay, so. All right. Now this one is a little hard. Who has been on Black? Oop.
I said, oh, good, a hard one.
Okay. But I'm warning you. Okay, so question 7. Who has been on Black Mass Appeal the most as a guest? 1 point. So we're looking for the name of a repeat guest who repeated the most.
Jesse doesn't count.
Spelling does not count.
Good.
Just kind of get it close. And no, Jesse doesn't count. Jesse's a part of the team.
Jesse's crew.
Although it would be interesting to go back and figure out which episodes he's actually spoken on. It's not that many.
No, really. I feel like it's 3.
Yeah. He really... I was just going to say, he really likes Hexanaut Scents. Friend Caroline, proprietor of Hexanaut Scents, who does beautiful fragrances and oils and soaps. And, we worked with her to promote it on the show. And Jesse really, really liked that promotion. So
he took 90% of them home with him.
he's very concerned about how his beard smells, which is a good concern.
Actually, I have one right next to me right now. Just kind of weird. I have the Devil's Lettuce.
I think fragrances have such great names.
Yeah.
I definitely need to get some of those.
Dang it.
Okay. Time is up. Let me see. Okie dokie. Thank you for
that wasn't a trick question.
Answers.
The answer is Simone.
Look, we got hosts, we got crew, and we got guests.
Right.
Aren't we all really guests on this plane of existence?
I will say, if anybody watching or listening this knows the answer to that one, because that one's pretty hard, I will send that person an extra prize myself, up to and including the person who is the answer, who might be the only one who knows.
I wonder if they're watching this and going,
"Hey, it's me."
Okay, moving on. Question 8. Members of what Michigan-based satanic group appeared on episode 52 to tell us all about their experience going to an exorcism held by Bob Larson?
Oh. Shit.
You have to actually write the answer down.
Oh, damn. I was going to send it psychically.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's submittable, right?
Yes.
Bob Larson was in San Jose not that long. I think it was within the last year or two. And I was really macabrely curious, but I did not want to financially support him and could not sneak in.
Right.
Do you know what the venue was?
I don't remember. I really don't.
Dang. Next time, let's find the venue, and then we'll, get a person on the inside for us who could sneak us in.
I was writing something about Bob Larson the other day, and I referred to he's got what I call Lego hair, and I thought that will be hilarious to people who have seen a picture of Bob Larson and mystifying to anybody else who reads this ever. I feel a lot of pressure to be entertaining during these intervals. I don't know, maybe I'll just edit them out anyway.
I mean, this is how regular trivia works.
It's true.
This is giving time for the people listening to scream at us.
Right.
More than they usually do. We're allowing this time. Please scream your annoyance and frustration.
I can hear it.
Designated time for it.
Giving me time to pretend like I'm not just scoping out my screen to see how I'm looking on the street.
Yeah. Okay. I've received answers from everybody. Thank you. Next is an easy one. What day of the week do new episodes of Black Mass Appeal come out? Looking for the day of the week.
What if we got this one wrong on purpose just to fuck with people's expectations?
I mean, I don't know. I'm the one who edits the thing up until midnight the night before. So whenever it just appears magically.
This is an easy one. I'm always, sitting up.
Chomping at the bit.
Floor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Waiting for midnight to roll around.
I mean, not waiting, but it's oh, hey, it's past midnight. Is there a new episode?
It's usually a couple hours after midnight, as I recall.
Usually, yeah.
Honestly, depends on when we record and when I get the file back mastered from Jesse. And then I edit it for time and clarity, take out mistakes, and publish it. And, sometimes I get it in before midnight and I schedule it for midnight 01. And sometimes it takes me a little bit longer. And then it just gets published when it gets published.
This is true. I used to schedule all of our social media to update at 3 a.m. because there's a lot of superstitions about that time of night. That's, the witching hour. And a lot of fundies are still anxious about that time of night even now. That was back during a time when I had the luxury of finishing things far enough in advance that I could schedule them at an esoterically specific time. Those were the fucking days.
Right.
Now it's whenever the hell, whenever this is done.
No, it's oh shit, I gotta do that. It was due 3 hours ago.
Okay, now it's time for our final question. Question number 10. What's the country that was once inexplicably left in a show sheet and that now sends the hosts into fits of giggles whenever it's mentioned?
I'm sorry, once? I believe.
Well,
the repeat offender.
It started
every other episode.
It was unintentional once. The other times it was in there was definitely intentional. This is why you shouldn't give me the show sheets before we do the show.
This is why final proofread is always good.
Hey man, we just described to you that we're hanging on by our fingernails trying to get the show out on time.
Oh, and as if I proofread anything.
Yeah.
So,
I proofread my texts.
If anyone had proofread it, you wouldn't have this lovely running bit.
Yes. That's true.
It's all about the bits.
Everybody loves the bits.
Okay, I'm just tallying up our scores.
There are times when I'm sneaking into the show sheet as we're doing the show to fix an error that I spotted. Because only 5 people, at most 5 people ever read these documents, so they don't have to be that scrupulous.
Okay.
Although they could be a good Patreon thing.
All right. Okay. I have our scores. So now let's go over the answers. So question number 1 was, one of the events leading up to the formation of the Black Mass Appeal podcast was me writing a letter to a different podcast and telling them all about Satanism. And that podcast was My Favorite Murder. So the hosts get 1 point on that one. The guests guest last podcast on the left, which is tangentially related to My Favorite Murder and also a podcast that I enjoy, but I have not written to them yet, although one or two of them identify as Satanists, and so one of these days we've got
Henry
to
Zabowski, like 100%.
Yeah, we've been meaning to kind of drop him a line and see if we can harangue him into joining.
Yeah, come on our show. Come on, do it.
I want to point out, I called it autocorrect earlier, but there is no autocorrect in Zoom, so I guess it was just like the devil's fingers, because I discovered that when I tried to type that, it came out as like My Mother's Murder, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on?
Freudian slip.
Whoa.
That went to a dark
weird
place.
prescient
That'd be an
podcast?
edible slip.
What if you know how there's like true crime podcasts are so popular? What if someone released like a 10-part series on how they were going to murder somebody else, and had like you had 10 episodes to figure out who they were talking to and get them arrested?
That would be the 10-part podcast adaptation of O.J. Simpson's If I Did It.
Oh,
There you go.
It's not the same thing, but I was briefly a suspect in a murder in my hometown. I discovered after the incident. Really, my coworker ended up going. My coworker went to prison over that, but briefly they mistook his description for mine, and a deputy showed up at my house to ask really probing questions that I was not smart enough to know not to answer.
I'm sorry. I have never heard this story before.
Yeah,
It's funny. I was just thinking earlier that, a broken clock is right twice a day, and one of those times for Anton LaVey was saying the policeman is not your friend, the lawyer is.
Yeah. Here's what happened is when I was still living in my hometown, but it was after high school. A guy that I worked with and two of his friends were planning to rob some dude's vacation home. I don't know if I don't remember the details. I think they thought he was not home, and when he interrupted them in the middle of the robbery, they knocked him out to subdue him. And of course, as anybody with any degree of medical knowledge knows, that's extremely dangerous. And so he did die. And and so there. I don't remember how long the sentences were on that, but it was pretty serious. But it was especially weird for me to have this cop show up and ask me this series of weird questions for no evident reason, and then come into work the next day to find out that this dude was in jail. All the pieces fell into place then.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, was this too heavy for the show? I don't know.
No, it's not.
No,
It's not.
it was
heavy
precisely heavy
necessarily.
enough.
It's just like, if I had been questioned in a murder investigation, I don't think I would have kept that to myself for very long.
Yeah, same.
I mean, when I bring it up, people get weirded out, so I don't broach the
we know you didn't
Blow
do
me
it.
down.
We know you didn't do it, so that's not a concern.
What I don't get is how they mistook us, because somebody who was a witness after the fact described, knew him only as a dude who worked at the same restaurant that I did. So obviously that's how we got conflated, but we looked nothing alike. So I don't know how they made that mistake.
Did he also have long hair? No,
that's the thing. So they gave a weird physical description that then apparently. Also, I had no alibi of any kind for that night because I was 19 years old and living in a small town and maladjusted, so I was not speaking to anybody or leaving the house.
Yeah, it's actually made me. We're getting so off topic, but I've really thought about are there serial killers out there who were active before the pandemic and now they're being forced to shelter in place and they can't go out and do their murders? So we've just, by accident, put a bunch of serial killers on hiatus?
Just gnashing at the bit, looking at his collection of toes. He's like, shit! This sucks!
Or they're turning to video games to get some kind of murder methadone, and they're weaned off actual murder, and they'll just be hardcore gamers.
I assume
let's hope it's that way.
Yeah, I like that.
I assume that this is like their time to finally write the Zodiac Manifesto that they never had time to get to. You know, like I feel like every serial killer probably has a crazy manifesto that they have always been putting off because there's just never enough time.
You want to write the Great American Manifesto and you think you have time?
What is the line between manifesto and just angry goddamn rants?
Page count.
Page count? Okay.
Ambitiousness, maybe? I don't know. It's a good question.
If it's in a journal, you're good. It's a manifesto. If it's scrawled on the walls in bizarre substances...
Jury's out.
It's kind of interesting how that word has taken on an exclusively pejorative meaning in the last 100 or so years.
When are we going to start seeing serial killer manifestos on like social media?
Oh, we've already gotten that, like that Elliot Rogers kid.
Elliot Roger, yeah.
Because like I just suddenly had this image of like a serial killer manifesto on LiveJournal.
Well, unfortunately, you don't know they're a manifesto until they're gone.
Right.
And then you look back and you're like, oh, well, this is his manifesto.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that we are at least safe in the knowledge that the Unabomber's manifesto will never show up on a blog, because I think that technology was sort of part of his rant.
Right. It would be very off-brand, yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to question 2.
Sorry.
We'll get there.
Apple recently changed the name of its podcast app, leading to a lot of confusion when we tried to read our reviews. What was the original name of the app and what was its new name? The new name, the original name was iTunes, and the new name is now Apple Podcasts. So that's worth 2 points, and both teams got 2 points. Okay. Moving on to number 3. So number 3 was in 2019, Black Mass Appeal guest John Romero released a new episode or megawad of his classic video game Doom. What was it called? It was called Sigil.
Shit.
Another very satanic-y name.
It's embarrassing because we talked to him about that too.
Yes.
Yes. And I have to, unfortunately for our hosts, it was not Ultimate Doom.
You didn't even put my answer, you ass.
I told you. Well, your guess was Inferno, but I knew that was wrong. I was like 95% sure mine was wrong, but still.
Well, the guests did earn a point on that one. So we've got that. Okay. Moving along to question number 4. Name another podcast the Black Mass Appeal hosts have been on. So far, we have appeared on Bizarre States, Naked Diner, Sacred Tension, and Let's Be Ominous. Now, Daniel actually put Die Hard with the Podcast, which was my show, which I didn't even think about as a potential answer, but he's technically correct. Because also Daniel was on an episode. So 1 point there for the hosts. And then for the guests, they put Religious Tension, which is clearly referencing Sacred Tension with Stephen Branford Long. So we're going to give you half a point for that one.
Thank you.
I'll take half a point.
Okay. Now, Penny Lane was on the show. She's the director of the documentary Hail Satan. And I wanted you to give me the name of one of her other films. So our hosts correctly put Nuts, which is, I haven't seen that documentary, but I have heard this story. It's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. This like radio preacher somehow moves into these cures for ailments for men by replacing their testicles with those of goats.
Yes.
So,
Can we share what Tabitha's answer was?
yes, I don't see it in here. So, Tab, what did you say?
As if it was called Dick.
And when I said she was very close, I meant quite literally. No, it's
just like in
Yeah, I thought she had a documentary about Nixon.
Oh, did she did?
So, yes. So here are the films for which Penny Lane has directing credit. The most recent is Nellie Bly Makes the News. Then there was Hail Satan. Then The Pain of Us. Normal Appearances. Just Add Water, the story of the amazing live sea monkeys. Nuts. R. Nixon. The Voyagers. The Commoners. Sittin' on a Million. The Abortion Diaries. And We Are the Littletons, A True Story. So,
in hindsight, it is a tremendous missed opportunity that she did the Nixon movie right before the Nuts movie and did not call it Dick. If she had known, I wonder if she would make a different decision.
well, there was a Kirsten Dunst, Michelle Williams movie called Dick about
Yes, I
Nixon.
was about to say, yeah. It might have gotten confused. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to question number 6. Give the 2 primary members of the band Twin Temple, what are their names? And we have Alexandra and Zachary James. Some of our answers received from our guests was Burke and Hare, which is a pretty, like, if you were in a duo and you had to adopt pseudonym,
Right.
Burke and Hare is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Solid.
Agreed.
Solid.
Okay.
Any answer is better than no answer, so.
Yeah.
Well, a lot more murder talk in this round than I thought. What are you going to do?
So our hosts got 2 points on that one. Okay, for question number 7, who has been on Black Mass Appeal the most as a guest?
Oh, this is going to be really interesting.
Okay, and we got some, okay. The person who has been on the show most with 4 guest episodes is Bridget Breed, member of Satanic Bay Area, who has been on episodes 6, 7, 10, and 16. They are followed by our friend Dietrich Von Doom, who has been on 3 episodes. So our hosts got the correct answer. Our guests went with Dietrich, which is a very solid answer. So we're going to give you half a point for that one.
Hey, we got a 1 full point from there.
Okay, moving on to number 8. So members of which Michigan-based satanic group appeared on our show to talk about their exorcism with Bob Larson? That was Satan House. And so the host took 1 point for that one. Number 9 is what day of the week do new episodes of Black Mass Appeal drop? That's on Tuesday, every other Tuesday. So a point for each team.
As long as we're on the topic, Simone, I've always been meaning to ask you, was there any particular reason, or did that just happen to be the day you finished it and then the president was established?
No, marketing research. I used to work in marketing, and now I get all head up about it for my own personal projects. But marketing research shows that Tuesday is the best day for podcasts. It's a work day, so people are still commuting, but it's not a Monday when people are slammed. So I think something like Monday through Thursday are the ideal days to drop a podcast. Friday and the weekend are not good days because people are off doing their own thing. So
I got multiple podcasts I listen to that come out on a Tuesday, so that might be like interesting.
Now you know why.
yeah.
I do.
Okay, so our last answer for our last question. What's the country that was once accidentally left in a show sheet, and now we can't say the name of that country without being ridiculous nerds? It's Greece. The answer
Also
is
Greece.
also Greece.
It's still funny.
Now, here's a bonus question of my own that probably the listeners are not going to get because most of this didn't make it into the show, but a little of it did. Does anybody remember which episode it was where for some reason, when we got to the outro, we could absolutely, it took us like 20 minutes to record the outro because we couldn't stop laughing. And it was one of those things where you were almost done and then you would see somebody else trying not to laugh so hard, and that's the funniest thing in the world. And Tabitha in particular was getting really mad about this because we had not eaten lunch yet, and all we had to do was finish the outro and go eat, and we just could not keep our shit together. Does anybody remember what the show was? Because I'll never forget this one.
I'm sorry that I was grouchy.
I seem to recall that there was like a burrito just like staring at you.
That was a recent one.
Yeah.
This was when we did episode 57, the Death and Dying show. And for some reason, I don't remember what it was, somebody said something funny, and then it was hard to stop laughing at it, and then it became hard to stop laughing at the fact that everybody was laughing. And so, it was just... It was
a self-evolving, perpetuating bit. Those are the best kind.
What you're saying is the Death and Dying episode when God.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So if you listen to that episode, some of that fiasco actually did make the final edit, I assume, because there was no clean take of it anywhere in it. Or maybe Simone just got tired of screwing with it at that point. But it's nowhere near the volume of time we spent trying to end that show and just being incapable of it.
I feel like probably every podcast has that one episode that they just keep trying to end and can't.
Yeah.
Everyone's just too punchy. Okay, so our final scores. The guests have received 6 points. Our hosts have received 11, but still a very valiant effort. So I want to thank Val Raven and Aaron again for joining us and having a good time in our third and final round of our great trivia extravaganza.
Yay!
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we do the outro. Do you two want to stick around and do Hail Satan with us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Okay. So, kind of like you've always heard, at the end of every episode of Black Mass Appeal, our website is blackmassappeal.com, and you can get in contact with us at our email address, which is blackmassappealpod@gmail.com. You can find us on social media as @blackmassappeal on most platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And, join our Patreon, join our Discord, come say hi. We'd be happy to see you.
I guess for this one, we should plug the YouTube channel, too, since that is where some of you will be experiencing this.
We do have some videos up on YouTube of ritual of, the everyday Satanism with Baphomet, the BMABCs series. And
new episode of that is coming, by the way.
Even more content to come in love. And also, Satan Club is also working on another musical appearance. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel.
And to find out more about Satanic Bay Area, check us out at satanicbayarea.com. You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram as Satanic Bay Area. Follow us on Twitter. The handle there is @SatanicSF. And under normal circumstances, you could come down and meet us in person at Wicked Grounds Coffee Shop on the third Thursday of every month for Satanic Coffee Hour. Might meet Valraven there too every now and then. But obviously, for the time being, we have that is on hiatus. So instead, keep an eye on our various accounts to see when we are going to be meeting virtually via Jitsi in the next month. And Tabitha,
Jitsi, Jitsi, just Jitsi.
Oh, what did I say?
No, I just don't want anyone to mistake that, because it sounds a little like a racial slur.
Okay, I see. For a second there, I panicked. I'm like, oh, what did I say? And Tabitha, next time that we are having a meeting, what are we going to be having?
Well, I had to look around me for whatever I had to, because I don't know. So I did find my perler of a crab. So we're going to have crab.
Crab.
And Hail Satan to go out on everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hail
Satan!
Satan!